let's talk about something you might not expect. Sleep. Human circadian rhythms evolved under the light of a single moon. Our biology responds to the lunar cycle in subtle but important ways, with two moons crossing the sky on different schedules. Nighttime darkness becomes far more variable. Some nights would be brilliantly illuminated by two full moons simultaneously. Other nights would be genuinely dark, with both moons new or below the horizon. This inconsistent nighttime lighting would have fundamentally altered how humans and animals evolved. Our melatonin production, which regulates sleep, responds to ambient light levels with wildly variable nighttime brightness. Our sleep patterns might have evolved to be more flexible and polyphasic. The idea of a solid 8-hour sleep might never have developed. Instead, humans might naturally wake and sleep in multiple cycles, adapting to whatever light conditions each night brought. Nocturnal animals would face an even more dramatic impact. Predators that hunt by moonlight would have evolved different strategies. On bright double moon nights, prey animals would need better camouflage or might avoid activity entirely. On dark nights, predators would need enhanced night vision or alternative hunting methods. The evolutionary arms race between nocturnal hunters and their prey would have taken completely different paths. Consider the plants. Many flowering species time their blooming to lunar cycles. Night-blooming flowers that rely on moth pollination coordinate their opening with moon phases, with two moons creating overlapping cycles. Plant reproduction strategies would be far more complex. You might see species that evolve to bloom only when both moons are full, creating rare but spectacular flowering events. Other plants might split their strategy, with different populations responding to different moons. Let's shift to human culture and mythology. The moon has always held profound symbolic meaning. It represents femininity, cycles, change, and mystery in countless cultures. But what happens when there are two? The symbolism would fracture and multiply. Ancient civilizations might have assigned different gods or meanings to each moon. One could represent birth and growth, the other death and decay. Lovers might swear oaths under the larger moon, while warriors sought favor from the smaller. Religious calendars would be fascinating. Many faiths time their holidays and observances to lunar phases. With two moons, you'd likely see competing calendar systems. Some religions might follow the larger moon exclusively. Others might require both moons to align in specific phases before certain rituals could occur. Imagine holidays that only happen once every several years, when both moons reach full phase simultaneously. The night sky itself would be a completely different canvas for storytellers. Eclipse events would be far more frequent and varied. You could witness one moon eclipsing the other, creating a spectacular celestial show unknown in our world. Ancient astronomers would have had twice the data to work with, potentially accelerating the development of mathematical astronomy and physics. Here's something really counterintuitive. Space exploration might have happened sooner. With two nearby celestial bodies instead of one, the motivation to reach them would be doubled. The Cold War space race might have involved competing missions to each moon. The closer or smaller moon might have been reached decades before our actual 1969 moon landing. Having two moons would make space feel more accessible, more obviously within reach. But there's a darker, long-term possibility we need to address. Orbital mechanics are delicate. Having two moons means their gravitational fields interact not just with Earth, but with each other. Over millions of years, these interactions could destabilize one or both orbits, depending on their sizes and orbital distances. Several scenarios could unfold. The moons might gradually drift apart until one escapes Earth's gravity entirely, leaving us with a single moon again. Alternatively, their orbits could decay, bringing them closer together until they collide in a catastrophic impact that showers Earth with debris. There's even a possibility that one moon's orbit could decay enough to bring it dangerously close to Earth. If a moon crosses what's called the Roche limit, tidal forces would tear it apart, creating a spectacular ring system around our planet. Imagine Earth surrounded by glittering rings visible during the day, casting moving shadows across the surface as they orbit overhead. The effect on Earth's axial tilt is another crucial factor. Our single moon acts as a stabilizer, keeping Earth's tilt relatively constant at about 23.5 degrees. This stability is why we have predictable seasons. A second moon could either enhance this stability or disrupt it entirely, depending on its orbit. If the second moon's gravitational influence competed with the first, Earth might experience wobbles in its axial tilt over thousands of years. This would cause dramatic climate shifts as the angle of sunlight hitting different latitudes changed unpredictably. Navigation throughout history would have evolved along completely different lines. Sailors have used the moon's position for wayfinding for millennia. With two moons, celestial navigation becomes simultaneously more complex and more precise. You'd have twice as many reference points, but would need to track 2 separate orbital cycles. The mathematical tables required for navigation would be far more sophisticated. Polynesian wayfinders, Viking navigators, and Arab astronomers would have developed even more impressive skills. Let's consider tidal energy, a growing renewable resource in our world, with 2 moons creating complex tidal patterns. Tidal power generation could be either far more productive or frustratingly unreliable. Engineers would need to design systems that could handle extreme supertides without damage, while still capturing energy during weak Neap tides. But the potential energy available during aligned supertides would be enormous. A civilization that cracked this engineering challenge could power itself almost entirely on tidal energy. The romantic and artistic implications are surprisingly profound. The moon has inspired countless poems, songs, and paintings. Moonlit walks are the stuff of romance. But with 2 moons, which one becomes the romantic symbol? Would lovers meet under the larger moon? Would the smaller moon represent forbidden or secret love? Here's a truly unexpected consequence. Timekeeping and calendar development would be monumentally more complex. Our current calendar evolved from attempts to reconcile the solar year with the lunar month, with 2 moons having different orbital periods. Creating a unified calendar would be a mathematical nightmare. Different cultures might adopt entirely different systems. One civilization might follow a calendar based on the larger moon, another on the smaller, and a third on when both moons align. International coordination and trade would require conversion between multiple calendar systems. The psychological impact on humanity is worth considering too. The moon in our sky is a constant, reliable presence. It waxes and wanes on a predictable schedule. This reliability might contribute to our sense of cosmic order, with 2 moons following independent cycles. The night sky would be far more dynamic and less predictable. Would this make humanity more comfortable with chaos and change? Or would we crave order even more desperately? So what if Earth had 2 moons? Our oceans would be less predictable. Our sleep would be more fragmented. Our evolution would have taken different paths. Our cultures would be richer and more complex. Our space programs might be more advanced. And our long-term future might include the spectacular but terrifying possibility of moons colliding, escaping, or disintegrating into rings. The universe would still be the same, but that our experience of it would be fundamentally transformed. Every aspect of life, from the biological to the cultural, would bear the mark of that second pale disk hanging in our sky, which leaves us with one final question to ponder. If two moons would change everything this dramatically, what other seemingly small cosmic differences might completely reshape reality as we know it?